John C. Maxwell is the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership stands as one of the most practical and timeless guides to leadership ever written. Maxwell condenses decades of experience into principles that apply to anyone, in any field, who seeks influence and impact. His message is clear. Leadership is not reserved for a chosen few. It is available to anyone willing to learn, grow, and live by laws that never change regardless of time or culture. The first law, the law of the lid, explains that leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. Your talent, intelligence, and effort may be high, but if your leadership lid is low, your potential is capped. In contrast, by raising leadership capacity, you expand what is possible. The difference between success and mediocrity often lies not in knowledge, but in the strength of leadership that directs it. Maxwell then introduces the law of influence. Leadership is not about titles, positions, or ranks. It is about influence. True leaders are recognized not by what they claim, but by whom they inspire. Influence cannot be demanded. It must be earned through trust, consistency, and service. Many mistake authority for leadership, but authority fades quickly without influence. Influence is the currency of leadership, and those who build it hold the power to move people toward vision. The law of process teaches that leadership develops daily, not in a day. Great leaders are not created overnight. They are molded through habits of discipline, reflection, and intentional growth. Leadership is a journey, not an event. Maxwell emphasizes that consistency compounds small acts of leadership, repeated over time, create transformation. Those who expect instant results misunderstand leadership. The process may be slow, but its fruits endure far longer than sudden flashes of charisma. Maxwell highlights the law of navigation. Anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. Leaders anticipate obstacles, prepare for storms, and plan with vision. Navigation is not about knowing every answer, but about foreseeing the journey ahead and guiding others with confidence. A leader without navigation leaves teams adrift, but a leader with foresight empowers people to endure trials and still reach the destination together. The law of addition declares that leaders add value by serving others. True leadership is not about taking more, but about giving more. Maxwell reminds us that great leaders measure success not by personal gain, but by the growth and fulfillment of their people. Service turns authority into trust and transforms leaders into mentors. Influence deepens when leaders ask, "How can I make others better?" Addition, not extraction, defines leadership that lasts. Maxwell presents the law of solid ground, where trust is the foundation of leadership. Without integrity, no strategy or vision can succeed. Trust is built through consistency, honesty, and alignment between words and actions. It takes time to earn, but can be destroyed in moments. Leaders who betray trust lose influence permanently. The law is irrefutable because no one willingly follows leaders they cannot trust. Integrity is not optional. It is the essence of leadership. The law of respect teaches that people naturally follow leaders stronger than themselves. Respect is not demanded, but earned through character, courage, and competence. Maxwell explains that people look for leaders who embody qualities they admire and who demonstrate the strength to protect and inspire. Respect multiplies influence because followers willingly align with those they honor. Leadership rooted in respect commands loyalty, even in adversity. Strength of character always draws respect. Maxwell emphasizes the law of intuition, explaining that leaders read situations instinctively, seeing patterns others miss. This intuition is not mystical, but a blend of experience, awareness, and deep understanding of people. Leaders sense opportunities, threats, and motivations before they are obvious. Intuition allows leaders to act decisively while others hesitate. By sharpening intuition through reflection and practice, leaders cultivate an edge that empowers them to guide with foresight rather than reaction. The law of magnetism reminds us that who you are is who you attract. Leaders cannot expect to gather people unlike themselves. They naturally draw those who reflect their values, energy, and vision. This means that improving yourself improves your team. Leaders who embody integrity, passion, and resilience attract followers with the same traits. Mediocrity attracts mediocrity. Excellence attracts excellence. Leadership begins with self-transformation, for we inevitably mirror the qualities we carry within. Maxwell teaches the law of connection. Leaders touch hearts before they ask for hands. Influence flows from emotional connection, not mechanical command. People follow when they feel understood, respected, and valued. Leaders who invest in relationships inspire greater commitment than those who rely on orders. Connection multiplies cooperation because it creates bonds of trust. By engaging with empathy and humanity, leaders transform organizations into communities united by loyalty and shared belief. The law of the inner circle explains that a leader's potential is determined by those closest to them. No one leads alone. Great leaders surround themselves with trusted allies who amplify their strengths and complement their weaknesses. This circle becomes the foundation of influence. Maxwell emphasizes that leadership is not measured by individual performance, but by the capacity of the team a leader builds. Choose your inner circle wisely, for it determines your ceiling. Finally, Maxwell introduces the law of empowerment. Leaders secure influence by giving it away. Small leaders cling to control, but great leaders lift others by trusting them with responsibility. Empowerment communicates belief, fueling growth and confidence in followers. Leaders who hoard power limit themselves. Those who release power multiply it. True influence is not diminished by sharing, it expands. The mark of a great leader is not how many follow, but how many rise. The law of reproduction states that leaders develop new leaders, not followers. Maxwell reminds us that people do what people see. If a leader only seeks followers, growth stalls. If they invest in raising other leaders, influence multiplies exponentially. Reproduction ensures that leadership legacy extends beyond one lifetime. The truest measure of leadership is not what you accomplish alone, but the leaders you empower to carry the vision forward with strength and clarity. The law of buy-in explains that people buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. Maxwell emphasizes that credibility, trust, and integrity matter more than polished presentations. Even the greatest vision will fail under a leader no one believes in. Conversely, people will follow strong leaders even through flawed strategies because they trust character more than plans. Influence grows when people believe not just in the mission, but in the messenger. Maxwell describes the law of victory. Leaders find a way for the team to win. Defeat is never acceptable to true leaders. They rally people, adapt strategies, and sacrifice personally to secure victory. Victory is not about ego, but about proving to the team that persistence conquers obstacles. Great leaders refuse to accept failure as the final word. Their relentless commitment inspires resilience in followers, teaching that setbacks are temporary, but perseverance is eternal. The law of the Big Mo highlights the unstoppable power of momentum. Maxwell explains that momentum is a leader's best friend because once energy builds, even small victories fuel massive progress. Leaders create momentum through consistent vision, discipline, and persistence. Without momentum, even simple tasks feel heavy. With it, even large challenges become achievable. Great leaders protect and direct momentum, knowing that once lost, it is difficult to recover. Momentum sustains greatness. The law of priorities reminds us that activity is not the same as accomplishment. Leaders must focus on what matters most rather than being consumed by busyness. Maxwell emphasizes that successful leaders apply the 80-20 principle, investing energy where it multiplies results. Saying no to distractions allows focus on the essential. Priorities demand discipline because opportunities are endless, but time is limited. Great leaders distinguish between what is urgent and what is truly important. The law of sacrifice underscores that leaders must give up to go up. Maxwell teaches that leadership always requires trade-offs. Influence cannot grow without personal sacrifice, whether time, comfort, or recognition. Sacrifice communicates commitment and inspires loyalty. Leaders unwilling to give cannot ask others to give. The greatest legacies were built by individuals who surrendered personal privilege for collective progress. Sacrifice is not loss, but investment in a greater future. Maxwell reveals the law of timing. The right action at the wrong time leads to failure, while the right action at the right time leads to success. Timing separates leaders from followers. Discernment of when to act is as vital as knowing what to do. Great leaders sense timing, moving boldly when the moment is ripe and patiently waiting when it is not. Success in leadership often depends less on speed than on wisdom. The law of explosive growth shows that leaders who develop followers add growth, but those who develop leaders multiply growth. Multiplication is the secret to explosive influence. Maxwell argues that organizations stagnate when they rely solely on one leader. By cultivating many leaders, the movement expands beyond what one person could sustain. Explosive growth requires intentional mentorship, empowerment, and the humility to share influence. Legacy is secured by multiplying leaders, not hoarding followers. Finally, Maxwell concludes with the law of legacy. A leader's lasting value is measured by succession. Leadership is not judged in moments of success, but in what remains after the leader is gone. Maxwell reminds us that building a legacy requires intentional investment in people and causes that outlive us. The greatest leaders think beyond their lifetime, ensuring that their influence ripples into generations. Legacy is the final proof of leadership's authenticity. In the end, Maxwell's 21 irrefutable laws revealed that leadership is not mystery, but discipline. Each law is universal, timeless, and non-negotiable. Whether you lead a family, a business, or a nation, these principles apply. Ignore them, and leadership crumbles. Honor them, and leadership flourishes. Greatness in leadership is not about charisma or luck, but about living daily by laws that stand firm across cultures, industries, and centuries. These laws are truly irrefutable. The book challenges us to reflect. Which laws are we currently living, and which have we neglected? Growth in leadership begins with honest self-assessment. No one masters all laws perfectly, but intentional progress in each strengthens influence. Leadership is not perfection, but direction, a journey of service, sacrifice, and growth. Maxwell's wisdom insists that leadership is learnable for anyone committed enough to grow. The journey begins with humility and continues with persistence. Leadership is not a title, it is a responsibility. It is not about personal glory, but collective growth. Maxwell's laws remind us that the highest calling of leadership is to serve, to influence, and to leave behind something greater than ourselves. True leaders are remembered not for the positions they held, but for the lives they changed. Leadership is impact, and impact is eternal. Great leaders eat last, start with why, and live by laws. And so, the choice is yours. Will you ignore the laws and settle for influence that fades, or embrace them and build a legacy that endures? Leadership demands courage, sacrifice, and clarity of vision. These laws are not theories. They are guides tested by time and proven in history. Begin today, apply them daily, and watch influence grow beyond imagination. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the bell, and share to inspire new leaders.